There's a question, it's one of the most searching questions you can ever ask yourself. It's not about some abstract idea or a bit of history, but something that gets right to the heart of things.
So take a look at this. You could think of it as a kind of spiritual self-portrait. You've got this cross right there at the center, and all around it are these layers of color. Some are bright, some are dark, some are just messy. And really, everything we're about to talk about boils down to this one question at the bottom. When Jesus enters your life, what does he truly see? And to find the answer, we have to look at a really strange day in the life of Jesus.
So that brings us to this puzzle. Because on the surface, these actions seem pretty out of character, right? One minute he's cursing a plant because it doesn't have fruit. The next he's flipping tables and causing a total scene in the temple. I mean, was Jesus just having a really bad day, or was there something much, much deeper going on? Let's figure it out.
Okay, so here's the thing. These weren't just random acts of anger. It's better to think of them as a kind of spiritual diagnosis. Jesus was basically performing a checkup and used two very public, very shocking events to show everyone a hidden sickness, a sickness in the heart of the religion of his day. And he did it using a very specific technique.
It's something called a prophetic action. This is when a prophet doesn't just speak a message from God, they act it out. It's like they're not just saying the message, they're showing it, turning a physical action into this living, breathing parable. So the cursing of the tree and the clearing of the temple, not emotional outbursts. They were carefully chosen lessons.
So let's start with that fig tree. Now, the text says it wasn't even the season for figs, which makes Jesus' reaction seem kind of unfair, right? But get this, there's a little botanical detail here that changes absolutely everything. Fig trees in that area produce these early, edible buds before the main crop shows up. So if a tree had a full canopy of leaves, it was basically advertising, hey, I've got fruit. This tree had all the leaves, the perfect appearance of life, but it had zero fruit. It was a deception. And suddenly it all clicks into place. The tree was a powerful symbol for a religious life that looked great on the outside, but was spiritually empty.
All right, so now let's go to the temple because you'll see the exact same theme playing out. Jesus walks in, he sees the money changers and the people selling animals, and he just drives them all out. It's so easy to think he was just mad about people doing business in a holy place. But the real issue, it was way more serious than that.
So Jesus accuses them of turning the temple into a den of robbers. Now, this is a direct quote from the prophet Jeremiah, and understanding what it really meant back then, well, that's the whole key. It didn't just mean a place where thieves hang out. It meant a hideout, a spiritual safe house where people who were being dishonest and unjust all week long could come, go through the religious rituals, and feel safe, basically using religion as a cover for a corrupt life.
So, you're starting to see the connection here? Both stories are about the exact same problem, that dangerous gap between how things look and how they really are. The fig tree, all leaves, no fruit. The temple, all ritual, no real connection to God. Both were these powerful symbols of a faith that was totally hollow on the inside.
Okay, so after this bombshell of a diagnosis, what does Jesus do? Does he just walk away? No way. He immediately turns to his disciples and gives them a 3-step guide for, renovating the heart, for building the kind of authentic spiritual life that actually produces real fruit.
And they're pretty straightforward, taken right from what he says next. First, you have to rebuild the very foundation of your faith. Second, practice radical forgiveness. And third, you have to put Christ at the absolute center of it all. Let's break these down. All right, step 1. And honestly, this is the most critical part, because if the foundation is wrong, the whole thing is just going to crumble. So Jesus points his disciples right back to the absolute beginning of any real faith. And what he tells them is so simple, but it's incredibly profound. He says, you are to have faith in God. Just notice the emphasis there. The object of our faith isn't our own power or our own positive thinking, or even getting the result we want. The object is God himself. And that is a huge distinction.
This really hits on a massive misunderstanding people have about faith. It is not some technique to try and control God, where if you just believe hard enough, you're guaranteed to get what you want. No! True faith is a deep, lasting trust in God's character and his goodness. It's about shifting from, I believe I'll get what I want, to, I believe God knows what's best, even if that mountain of a problem in front of me doesn't move a single inch.
Okay, so once that foundation is solid, we can move on to step 2 in this renovation project. And Jesus links this directly to a powerful prayer life. It's about practicing radical forgiveness. And this isn't some optional add-on. It's like the essential plumbing for your soul.
And here's the really crucial part. Jesus makes it crystal clear that a forgiving heart is an absolute requirement for a healthy connection with God. Unforgiveness, it's like a major blockage in the pipes. It just clogs up our ability to receive grace. And forgiveness isn't about saying what happened to you is okay. Not at all. It's about you letting go, freeing yourself from having to be the judge and handing that job back to God. When you do that, you clear out that inner court of your heart and you make room for real worship to happen.
And all of this leads us to the third and really the ultimate goal of this whole renovation project. After you've rebuilt the foundation of faith and cleared out the blockages of unforgiveness, there is one last, absolutely critical step.
And for this, we got to go back to that first image. Look at how the cross isn't just pushed off to the side somewhere. It's right in the middle. And all the messy, colorful, chaotic circles of real life, they all radiate out from that center point. This is the goal. It's not about achieving some perfect, sterile, clean life. It's about letting Christ be the organizing principle, right in the center of your real, authentic, and yeah, sometimes chaotic life.
So what does this all boil down to? What's the big invitation here? Well, it's not a call to just try harder or be better. It's an invitation to a radical kind of authenticity.
I mean, think about it like this. Jesus isn't looking for a life that looks like a perfectly polished showroom, clean, untouched, for display only. He is looking for a real inhabited temple, a place that's actually lived in, a place that might be messy, but where he is invited to live right in the very center of all that beautiful chaos. You see, when Jesus enters your life, he's not looking for perfection. He's not grading you. He's just looking for his position. Is he at the center? Because the goal isn't a perfect life. The goal is a surrendered center. That's the one thing that really matters most.
And so that leaves us with one final, really personal question to think about. If your heart is a temple, this sacred space that's meant for worship, who or what have you put on the throne at its very center?